student in history, I also received the Fulbright Hays, which is only for doctoral students, but the application is pretty similar to the Fulbright Full Grant, which is the research one, not the English teaching one. So I decided to apply for a Fulbright to go to the Brazilian Amazon, which is a fairly off the beaten track location. And what's great is that if you apply for one of the research Fulbrights, you really can, I mean, the options, there's so many different options of where you can propose to go. So it's quite exciting in that way, and I was able to go to a place in the Amazon that, very few foreign scholars had worked there. Actually, my graduate student advisors told me maybe it was not a particularly good place to do research. And I didn't listen to them, and I went anyway. So your professors are not always right. Sometimes they are. But if you're particularly interested in a part of the world, and if Fulbright offers, if it's in one of the countries for which there are grants, if you do the research grant, you really can propose. The options are just limitless in terms of location within the qualified countries. And that if you can do an initial trip or visit to a potential research site, you can make contacts locally and get this letter of affiliation that you need to have for the Fulbright Full Grant, that's the research one. But it's very hard to get that letter of affiliation on institutional letterhead from a sponsoring institution if you have never been to the location. I started that networking process, I think, a lot earlier. It's not as crucial for the ETAs, the English teaching assistantships, just because you don't need that letter. It helps, of course. Like if you could say, I have these contacts, I've talked to these people, and it obviously will help your knowledge of the site that you're proposing to go to, but yeah. For the ETAs as well, you don't have control over your ultimate assignment within the particular country. So you propose to go to Argentina, but you have no idea what school they will assign you to. And they tell you in the guidelines, like, we tend to place students at these types of schools, but you have no control over that. Whereas the research grants, you can say, I want to go to this Amazonian town and do my research there within Brazil, which is one of the countries that is going to offer more grants next year. So that's one piece of advice, is start early on the networking. In terms of what you need to do early, I worked, obviously as a doctoral student, I was trying to come up with my dissertation topic, but this would be true of any research proposal that you're applying for a Fulbright. The importance of just talking to your faculty mentors, whether your advisor in your major or another professor with whom you've taken a class that connects in some way to your research. I just can't underline the importance of that enough. In particular, they can help you make contacts. If they have host country contacts, that's ideal. But more than that, they can also just help you. All of us professors have written so many grant applications over the years that we all have a sense of what sounds like a feasible project, how to help you frame your topic in a way that's compelling. That page or two-page statement should be the most polished writing you ever do, in probably up to this point. We tend to think of that as a very small amount of writing, something you could toss off the day before, but literally, I think every sentence in that statement needs to serve a purpose. Go to a place that presents some physical hardships, like going to the Amazon was definitely difficult for me. I think that's why a lot of my graduate school professors were like, you may not want to do that. It helps in some, I don't think I ever said this in my proposal, but you want to give some sense that you are a resilient individual and that you can deal with challenges, whatever they may be. And I think the personal statement is probably the best way to do that. Like if you could talk about past travel experiences that you've had to places that are, if you're proposing to go to a developing country, similar places,